Alrighty, welcome to our last uh, session of the semester. Um, so to kind of uh, give you an overview of, from here until the end of the semester, today we are finishing the pressure chamber that we started last week. We'll talk a little bit about your final. And then next week, you will have your pressure chamber due, your final due, and then any solid professor or mind tap work that's still due. And just to be clear, because I've gotten this question before, um, if you're behind on your solid professor or mind tap stuff, sometimes it doesn't default to a 0 in the gradebook on Canvas. It'll default to just giving you like a dash on your gradebook. And the reason for that is if I manually go in and make it a 0 because you're late, and then you go ahead and do the assignment, my manual entry will override whatever grade Canvas will have imported from MindTap. So I leave them as it is to accommodate late submissions. But don't be deceived because a dash does not count as a 0 in the gradebook. Rest assured, I promise you, anything that's not done by this time next week will be put into a 0. So if you are missing all your assignments, you're like, ha, the grade book doesn't give it credit for a 0. I get a free pass. No, your grade will drop precipitously if all those dashes stay undone, and then I will do it a 0. And if your grade goes from an 80 to a 50 because of all those zeros, will I feel bad? No. No, I will not. So fair warning on that. I know. Is it because I'm mean, Anthony? Yes. Yes, it
Don't
is.
even care a little bit.
Nah, it's kind of fun just get going through Anthony 0 0 0 0 0 0.
I I kind of totally forgot about Solid Professor. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, well, you got a week. I'm flexible with accepting late work for Solid Professor. Um, the other stuff,
You do have
I
a
hit
heart.
you with the late grade, but yeah, get the Solid Professor done. You know, we'll play. Otherwise, you'll go from your inventor assignments to your only. Once those zeros come in, they do rack up quickly. Okay. So with that said, you guys should have. Going ahead and opening up my assignment. Pressure chamber. Okay. So you should be able to see my screen now. And last class, no. Hopefully it's working. There we go. Okay. So last class we finished with the assembly for our pressure chamber. So to review from last week, we had our base chamber part here, we had our gasket, and then we had our cover plate. We talked about how to assemble it all together. We talked about how to incorporate parts from the library. So we inserted these 8 screws over here. So you should have came to class today with the pressure chamber assembly all put together. And then today, we're going to bring this to its conclusion and then talk about how it needs to be submitted. So, we're done with this assembly. Now we're going to work on how we want to have this as a deliverable. Because if I go ahead and I make a drawing file, And, for my cover sheet, we're often going to do size C for a cover sheet. So I'm going to edit the sheet. Size D is the default, make it size C. And then if I incorporate the assembly over here, the problem with an assembly like the way it's shown right now is, you can't really see the gasket, for example. And because everything is put together properly, it's a little bit hard to make out individual parts to see how they interact on a more physical sense. So we are going to have another type of file. So let's go ahead and do File, New. And we've done parts, we've done assemblies, we've done drawings. The only thing left is a presentation file. And what a presentation file is it takes an assembly and then creates what's called an exploded view. And an exploded view, if you're not familiar with that term, is you take an assembly and then you show the parts separated from where they normally are to kind of give you an idea of how it comes together. So presentation, we're opening up a presentation file. Immediately, it will prompt you to say, okay, what do you want? What assembly do you want to create an exploded view of? And for us, that's going to be the pressure chamber assembly that we just did, like this. And all we're doing is we're going to be pulling the parts apart. So to do that, we're going to look at this function over here called tweak components. Tweak components. And then here's how it works. It's pretty simple. Just click on the part or parts you want to pull away. So I'm just going to do the bottom one for now, and I might have to adjust these. And then you have your 3 dimensions, your X, Y, and Z plane. I'm going to click on this right here. I'm just going to drag it where I want it to be. It gives you the value. So, you can specify, I don't know, maybe negative 100. Boom. And now it just shows you how the base chamber interacts with the other parts, but it's pulling it separately so you can kind of see it in more detail. We're going to do that again for the gasket. I'm having a little trouble grabbing my axis, so if not, I'm just going to do it from here. 50, and maybe I'll make that like, just make it look good. Like, it's okay if it covers it a little bit. I think that looks good to me. So tweak components. Now I'm going to move the top part. You know what? Let me do the other parts first. And you're just going to do this a few times. I'm going to now tweak. If I'm so now I'm doing the bolts. So if you want to do multiple, you just have to hold down shift. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And I'm going to pull that up like so. Okay. And then finally, I think it's better to have this be going up a little bit. Good enough. Oh, did that not work? Oh, for some reason my last one didn't work. Okay. Perfect. So now we have an exploded view. Again, the point here is you can see much more detail. Well, you can see each part with much more detail, and you see how they come together. So we're going to do File, Save As, call whatever you want, pressure chamber, presentation. You can call it pressure chamber again because it says it's a different type of thing. And we'll leave it there. Okay. So now we're going to go on to how you're actually submitting this assignment. So we are going to have a drawing file. And the base is going to be let me see if I can grab the other one. Yeah. So this is going to be your base, your presentation file. I think a 1-to-1 is probably pretty good. Maybe a little bit bigger. I'm going to do 1.2. Yeah, it looks good to me. 1.2 looks pretty good. And I actually want that to be shaded. So I'm going to, hit escape, go back into here. And then I'm going to change the style to shaded because I want to see the pretty colors because I like pretty colors. Then what else do we need? We need um, a parts list. So under annotate, we're going to go to a parts list. Parts list of what? Of this. Hit OK. Put it in the corner. Ignore that error message. Then you zoom in over here. You can see your item, your quantity. It already defaulted to the information about the bolt. So we need to edit this parts list because we want to include the material. So to edit a parts list, hit escape if you're in something, right click, edit parts list. In the top left, you can do the column chooser, and then you can find the available column, and I'm going to add material, and maybe I'll move that above description. That's good. I like it cleaned up a little bit. I don't want things on multiple columns like this is. I want all the columns and all the rows to be the same width or height. So I'm going to keep it like that. Maybe I'll tighten it up a little bit. Okay. We have to add balloons as well. So we have right click continue. And then the only other thing you would need to do is your title block. So once you have your cover sheet done, you're going to go to, as usual, File, Export, PDF, and you're going to make that. And you might want to call this 1 of 3 because we're actually going to have 3 PDF submissions for here. So pressure chamber 1 of 3 would be a good name for the first one. And that's going to be your first submission. Now, mind you, this is very, very, very similar to how your final will be submitted. So for the rocker assembly, that was the one with like the gear links and everything. The submission for that was just the assembly on a cover sheet with the parts list and the balloons. Now, for this project and your final, you are going to submit this cover sheet, a cover sheet like this, and you are going to have each of the individual parts put on a separate drawing file, properly dimensioned. So that's what we're going to do now. We have 3 parts here. We are now going to create separate drawing files for each of them, and we're going to properly dimension them on a size A piece of paper. Now, you do not have to dimension the hexagon bolt because that's a standard piece. So we're going to go to new. We're going to do a new drawing file. And this one is going to be a size A. So when we're doing size A, we have to have the smaller title block. So go ahead and insert the smaller title block. Properly fill it in. You do have to properly fill it in. And we are going to now insert our 3 parts. Well, one at a time. So we'll do the gasket and the cover plate first. Okay, so when we're doing this, we're gonna, obviously insert it. Now for this one, maybe I'll make it a size 1. How many views do we need? Someone besides Anthony. How many views do you think I need to properly describe, or should I include to properly describe this gasket? You can use a chat too if you're an awkward person who doesn't know how to talk. How many views do we need? 3 views. is our guess. Well, if we did 3 views, that's what we're going to have. So how many views do we think we need?
I'd argue 2.
You'd argue 2. I'm actually going to argue that you only need 1. Now, you would have to have a piece of text that would specify the thickness here, but because you can really describe it all on one view, like what is this side view really contributing to information purposes? Just the thickness. And this, I think, as Diego pointed out correctly, this view and this view, they are the same exact view. There's nothing that one is off from the other. But I'm arguing that actually neither of them are really helpful. So I'm going to have just this view. And for this one, we'll do it as a happy family. It's my gift to you for the last day of the semester. I'll go through everything you have to do. This was the gasket. Okay, so what dimensions do we need for the gasket? Well, we're going to go to annotate. And we're going to have 100 right here. The inside one was 60. This right here was diameter of 10. And this one, not only was it diameter of 10, but we want to specify we have 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 8 of them. So double click in there. And you could say like TYP. You could say, you should be in all caps. You could say TYP. I'm going to say 8 holes, but either way, you kind of convey the message. And I'm actually missing 1 dimension. Anyone want to let me know what dimension I'm missing? We have the inside circle. We have the outside circle. We have these circles. What dimension am I missing?
The thickness.
True. I am missing the thickness. It's actually not the answer I'm baiting for right here. But that is correct also. So what, besides the thickness, what other dimension am I missing?
The distance between the holes.
Also a good answer. I guess there are a few. So the distance between the holes, like from here to here, you could say like evenly spaced. I think it's okay to assume that, but but you are actually also right there. So there's actually 1 more dimension that we are missing. So I'll just do in. What other dimension am I missing? If I gave you this sheet and said, yo, draw this, you would not be able to.
Can I chime in, or am I still banned?
No, you can chime in. For lack of options, though, just let's be clear.
How far the holes are from the center?
Good. I don't know how to locate this circle right here. So I need to know how far this is from the center. So in order to do that, you are going to have to add your center marks. So you hit your center mark. Boom. And if you hit center mark for all these little guys over here, it's actually not really ideal, because what you're doing is you're having everything be X and Y. So when you have a bunch of circles in a pattern right here, this is something that's new. Over here under annotate, we've done center mark, we've done center line. We have not done centered pattern. And you use a centered pattern when you have a bunch of circles in a circular pattern. So I'm going to hit centered pattern, and then look in the bottom left. What does it say? It says select center of circle pattern. Okay, well, they're all here. The center of that is right here. So click. Now click on your location. Boom, 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 boom. And look at what it's creating. Right click and then create. And now you just created a very nice center mark with a circular pattern. So now, when I hit dimension, I could dimension to this right here and specify that those are all centered on a 75 diameter hole or circle. Then, like Jesse, I believe, said, we need to have some text. So we're gonna say, we'll call it like this. Again, you should always be in caps. Name, gasket, I don't know, description, doesn't really matter. 3 millimeters thick. Material, rubber. You can change the height if you want. Okay. So that's your first sheet. Again, you have to have your title block properly done for every sheet. But I think that we can actually fit more than one part on this piece of paper. So if I go ahead and I made that scale smaller, so instead of 1:1, I made it half. That looks still pretty good. Now I do have to clean this up a bit. But it's still like not so tight that it doesn't really work for me. So I think that looks pretty good still. So I'm going to go ahead and for this page, I'm going to have 2 dimensioned parts on the same drawing file. So now I'm going to go back for place view and I'm going to add another base view. And this time I'm going to do the cover plate. And then I'm going to do the base chamber by itself. So now I'm going to do the cover plate. Okay. And then I'm going to add my center mark. I'm going to do that centered pattern again. 3. Why isn't it? Oh, I did it wrong. I did it wrong. Look, perfect example. When I hit center pattern, the first thing I clicked was the part, but the first thing you have to click after you hit center pattern is actually the center of the pattern. Click and then begin your pattern. 5, 6, 7. Okay. Dimension. I'll do the outside one. Do that one. Okay. Okay. And now we have to do the inside one too. Now, why is it telling me that my diameter is 20.75? That's a little weird, right? Well, it's because we did the screws, right? So we actually have a screw right here. Now the screw was an M24 by 3. And what you see here when you zoom in, the reason why you have a solid and then a dashed is it's kind of showing you like the thickness of the threads itself. So the outside thread is actually where your 24 is coming from, but the inside of the thread is 20.75. But I don't really want either of those. I want to tell me in my dimension that we have an M24 by 3 screw. So once you put your dimension here, double click it, and I'm going to start typing M24 by 3. But the problem is that it still has that 20.75. I don't want to see that anymore. I want you gone. I want to override that. So to get rid of it, what you're going to have to do is hit right here, hide dimension value, and then you can just have it say M24 by 3. Okay. I'm going to copy this over. So Control V, Control V, and then I'll change up what it says. This was a cover plate, 13 millimeters thick, and this is made out of steel. And let's look. We have 100. Oh yeah, the only other thing is I think that we should say 8 holes evenly spaced over here as well. That was the only thing I forgot. And let's see if we can clean that up a little bit. Maybe I'll make that over 2 lines. Okay, so now we have 2 of our 3 parts dimensioned. Again, this is a size A. Don't forget to do the title block. That has to be done for every single hole, or every single page, I mean. And we're gonna do File, Export, and we'll call this 2 of 3. And we can do a file save as if you want to make a copy of this, because at this point you should have your title block already done. So if you do a file save as and rename it, then it'll be there ready. Why is it not opening? What did I do wrong? File, save as. Oh, sorry. You shouldn't do it that way. Wait, did I overwrite it? Give me 1 second. I lost which. There we go. Okay. Pressure chamber. I didn't. Okay. My issue with that, my hesitation right there was I never actually saved the drawing file of the second one. So we have this one right here. Yeah. So my issue, guys, was I didn't save the drawing file itself. I only saved the PDF. So pressure chamber 1 of 3 is the first page. And then this one was 2 of 3. I have to rename that. Okay, so then 2 of 3. Okay, and then we have to open 3 of 3. And this is the one that we're going to delete what we have over here. And one of these texts, again, your title block would be good. Okay, so hopefully, any questions on what I just did?
Do you have to put both names of the title block? You know how you put the 2 on? How would you put both names into the title block? You just type
Good
it in, no
question.
problem?
Your description could just be like your title could be dimensioned parts.
Okay.
Yep, good question, Diego. Yeah. So his question was like, well, we're so, used to calling this like the name of the part, but now we have 2. What do we call it? Now, this is like the title of the page and necessarily the title of the part. So here you can just say, again, like dimension parts 1 of 2, dimension parts 2 of 2. Because it will be redundant, like Diego pointed out, to have it be there for both. Okay, so now we're going to do the base chamber. So the base chamber over here. And I'm going to start with this view right here. And I think that a section view is going to be the best way of describing the inside. So I'm going to do a section view. So I'm going to do a section view of this right here. And I'm going to go from the edge to the center. I'm actually going to do only to the halfway point because it's going to look better. So I'm going to go, instead of going across, I'm going to go down. Right click, continue. Because then you can really see like the revolve portion. So it's a little bit cleaner in my view. As you can tell here, my hidden lines got turned off. So I'm going to double click here and make sure that hidden line is back on. There we go. And that should be the case for all of these. Make sure that hidden lines are on. I don't know why it got turned off. Are my other ones? Well, I guess those wouldn't have them. Anyway. Okay. So now we're going to add our dimensions here. So we have our that's 60. This is 100. Over here we have, and you can have it go to either of these circles. I'll do the inside one. The default is 20.75, but we want to get rid of that. So I'm going to double click it, hide the dimension value, and I'm going to say, nope, you're actually this, an M24 by 3. We need to have our center mark right here, our centered pattern as well. Dimension to that, and we have to do this dimension as well, and that's going to be the same thing. It's going to give you the true dimension, but because we know this is the threaded one, we're going to override that, and we're going to tell it we have an M8 by 1.25, and that was 17 millimeters deep, and then we have 8 holes. Okay, clean it up if you need to. Looks good to me. And is that all the dimensions? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and now for the bottom, we'd have to do the height. And then I have to do this over here. And I think that's it. I think that is it. Oh, then we have to change the description here, of course. Or the text. Okay, so, oh, come on. So I don't need the description anymore because I don't need to specify the thickness. So it's a steel also, and the name here is base chamber. And then you're gonna do file, export, PDF, and this one is pressure chamber 3 of 3. And now you will have 3 PDFs. The cover page right here, the dimension sheet size A, or the cover page again was size C. The dimension sheet 1 was size A, and then dimension sheet 2 was also size A. Now, to actually submit this, you're going to want to combine these into one PDF. So if you're not familiar with how to do this, there's a ton of free websites. So you can just go on Google and type in like literally combine PDF. And there's 100 of them. The first 2 are great, combined PDF, and then I love PDF. I use these a lot because a lot of times I want to rearrange pages of a PDF. Sometimes I want to combine PDFs. Sometimes I want to delete pages from a PDF. So all you have to do is type in like what you want to do to the PDF. So like delete pages from PDF. And then ilovepdf.com is a very great, very free website. So I'll show you how to do it because like it's sometimes with these websites they're a little bit sneaky with how you click on things, so you want to make sure you click the right spot. So when it says merge PDF files, I'm going to click here, and then wherever you saved it, you're going to click on your 3 here, and then we have file 1, file 2, file 3, merge PDF. And then PDFs have been merged. It's okay to hit download merged PDF. And then in your downloads file, now you have your sheet 1. And you can see the size difference too. Sheet 1, sheet 2, and sheet 3. And now this is the file that you should be uploading for the pressure chamber. Again, note the parallels between this and your final. Your final will be very, very similar. Any questions on the pressure chamber? Of course, the videos are uploaded, so if you're going ahead and doing this later, have the video open, watch me do it, pause it, then you do it, resume, watch me do it, pause, and have you do it. That's probably the best strategy. I know a lot of you like to do this on your own time, not necessarily during the lab time. Any questions on the pressure chamber before I go back to talking about your final for a bit. Give me 1 second. I heard my chickens making a lot of noise, but I don't see anything out there, so I was bracing for a fox again.
You have chickens?
I do. I have a lot of chickens.
You got ahead of the egg curve.
It's where I get all that
The
cash
egg,
money
the,
from.
yeah, the egg prices. Is that
I
why?
know, yeah. Actually, I caused the bird flu so I can sell more of my eggs.
No.
Yeah, why are they yelling? Hang on. Billy. All right, there was actually a reason. The dog, one of them got out, and the dog has her pinned now in a corner. The dog is good though.
Oh
She won't.
no.
The dog is good. The dog is she herds them. But that's why you probably can't hear them, but I can. It's very distracting for me. All right, let me go rescue this chicken. So give me 2 minutes.
Does he live on a farm?
We're good. Okay. So if there are no questions on the pressure chamber, we are just going to go back to talking about your final. So again, your final is going to be due. I think I made it midnight on next week. So it'll be due by midnight on, what would that be, the 13th? Oh, I did it. Yeah, midnight. Your final project, should be pretty clear. I gave you a write-up here and a dimension sheet to show you how to draw it. So in your write-up, I tell you, how I want things submitted. Your dimension sheet here is showing you all the parts and how they're dimensioned. The parts itself, not too bad, not too complicated. Actually assembling them is more difficult. So I talked about this last week, but the actual assembly of the parts, where you're building it all together, is rather complicated. So again, in my infinite generosity, I created a video of myself showing you exactly how it all comes together. So I just threw it into the module called Handout, and it says Piston Assembly Demo. And if you watch this video, extremely high production quality video, you will see exactly how to assemble everything once all of your parts are done. So once all your parts are done, watch that video, and that'll show you how it comes together to create the with all the proper constraints, because we've only really done as a family the insert constraint, but for this one you're going to have to use the make constraint and then something called rigid joint. So I show you how to do that in that video. Not complicated, but you know, the video is definitely going to be needed to help show how that interacts. All right, any questions on your final? Anything else? Because again, we don't have class next week unless you had a question in particular. So for most of you, this is probably our last time of meeting for this class. So any other questions?
I'm all good, Professor. Thank you for everything.
Appreciate you guys, especially the three of you who keep your cameras on so I don't feel too lonely. Good. I didn't like him. Oh, he's still there? Oh, he's still there. Yeah, that's awkward. And this is recorded, so now they know that I what I say about him.
You're exposed now. Can't take it back.
I know. I gotta delete this Zoom before you can show admin what I say about Anthony behind his back.
Everyone just
Alrighty.
have to make backups.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, keep it
My-
secret.
Oh, did I miss anything?
No. We're just saying how much we love you.
Hell yeah.
Don't talk and drive.
I can talk and drive. We don't use the phone and drive. I can talk and drive.
I shouldn't be able to see your eyeballs while you're driving.
It's
Although
just
you're
kids
gonna
around here.
take that to mean driving with your eyes closed. So I'm just gonna stop talking to you. Alrighty, guys. Any questions, shoot me an email. Any issues with grades, email me, because it's not going to be on my radar if you submit something late and then it's not done properly. I will stick around for lab time, but as always, you know, if you want to do this with the video at your own time, you are always welcome to. And who left before I even finished my closing spiel? All right, I'll see you guys later.
See you, Professor. Have a good
Later,
one.
Diego.
Professor,
Later,
thank you.
Jesse.
See you, Professor.
See you later, bud. See you later, Ryan. Later, Bryce.
So there's no class next week?
It's your final, so it's a take-home final.
Okay. So there's no Zoom?
I might just be in a chat, like doing, you know, my own work, just in case someone had a question. But no, you don't have to be here.
I'll pop in, but in
You know,
case
yeah, no,
not.
it's okay. It's okay. You don't have to, Anthony.
Well, this
No,
is
no, Anthony. It's fine.
Oh,
Fine.
all right.
It's
All
fine.
right. I see that. Yeah, you go have fun with your chicken.
No,
No,
you're
this
good.
is,
Yeah, I'll
I've
probably
been-
be there. Joke aside, I'll probably be there if anyone needs anything or just wants to say adios. But it's definitely not like, well, none of them are required, but this one particularly is not expected.
This one's big for me because this is my last class and then I graduate. I've been a Brookdale student for like 8 years. And this is my
Exciting.
very final class. So I'm glad it's with you,
Your
sir.
final.
My final. Couldn't ask for a
Exciting,
better
man.
professor.
What's that?
Couldn't ask for a better professor to close out
Yeah,
with.
I only met you one time in person, though.
Yeah, we take those.
Yeah. Well, man, it was a pleasure. I would have enjoyed you in my other classes, but
Yeah, me too.
You know, feel free to stop by, but you know, best of luck to you with your decisions on your horizon regarding career, regarding schooling, regarding family decisions. So, you know, I know you have some pads laid out in front of you, and you know, you'll need some, hopefully you have wisdom in choosing the best one.
I'm just gonna hang low for the rest of the year and let things marinate. Because one thing I do have is time, which is nice. But
Yes
I
and
might
no.
keep it. Well, yeah.
I know what you mean.
Fair enough.
It's not like
Yeah.
urgent. It's not like, you know, you gotta unpaid bills because of postponing decision making. But I'm at the same time, I'm sure
What I don't have is kids. So that's
What's
the
that?
main thing.
Wait, what did you say?
So I don't have kids.
Exactly. Yeah.
Namely, what I mean.
Right.
Gotta-
Yeah.
Get like a year or two of a buffer, or at least a 9-month buffer.
Yeah. Well,
Worst case.
kind of makes sense for
Yeah.
you. Kind of see like, are you going to be moving in the private sector or try and hold out for a public sector career?
Yeah. We'll figure it out. I'll let you know how it goes.
Yeah,
Are you gonna be
sure.
at
Shoot me an
the?
email. I'll probably
Will you
be
be
at
at the
Brook
ceremony?
until they fire me. I'll probably be here for a few years.
Yeah, I'm sure you'll be around. Do you
All right, brother.
I try to hang out with Spiro. I don't know how close you live to Yestercades or Red Bank, but
Well, Miko, shoot me an email.
Spiro's been with me every step of the way. Yeah,
He's a good dude.
I don't know if you guys are homies, but that'd be a fun.
I wouldn't call myself homies with any colleague.
That's
So
fair. Yeah,
insofar that I'm homies with anybody, I guess Spiro will be on the top of my very short list of colleagues that I associate with.
yeah.
But yeah, feel free to shoot me an email. Let me know.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I'd love to keep in touch. You're
Yeah.
awesome. You're really bright. And
I think
appreciate.
so, but
Yeah.
apparently- no. All right, man. Let me get going on my chickens. They need some
Yeah, go take care of those chickens. Do you live on a farm?
not a farm, but we're
Yeah.
very into homesteading. So
Yeah.
I grow a very large portion of our the food that we eat.
That's awesome. I'm very
So,
jealous of that. That's
yeah,
really
we have
interesting.
like
Yeah, I wish
you
I had the space for that and
every
the time.
fruit. We have every fruit tree, like giant strawberry patch, raspberries, blueberries, blackberries. We have grapes, and then obviously all your vegetables, your herbs, potatoes.
That's really cool.
Yeah, in
I
fact, that's
will-
probably what I'm doing today. After this, I'm probably planting a
Yeah.
few hundred plants.
I want to really pick your brain about that, but I'll let you go take care of your
Oh
chickens.
well, it's the most interesting thing about me.
That's
Now,
great. though.
partially because
Yeah.
I'm not a very interesting person, but two, like our homestead and like how much food I grow and how I, do the gardening is definitely a one of my very few talents in life.
I might need your help with my garden.
Oh, well,
So-
I can
so I
talk
was-
about gardening for a while, so maybe our yestercades would be a good time to kind of share our gardening type things.
Yeah, I need your green thumb because right now, well, it's not looking great. I have to start by weeding, but that's something I've always wanted. So
To
yeah,
weed?
it's really cool. No, like a like a proper, not just a garden, but like like
Yeah, it's like next level
Fruits and
gardening. Like it's not a
vegetables. Yeah.
farm. A farm would suggest selling for profit. What we
Yeah,
do
yeah.
is homesteading, which is large scale backyard gardening.
Yeah.
Because we do
How do
like
you have the space for that?
we
you
have
guys-
an acre and a quarter. You don't need
I want to dox you, but like, where do you like? I live in Keyport. It's super cramped. There's like no.
Yeah,
shot
I
I'd
live
be
in
able
I
to-
live in Farmingdale, so we live in a
Oh,
rural.
okay. Nice.
So that
I
helps.
lived in Howell for a while. Isn't that right next to you?
Yeah, we're technically Howell Township.
We were practically neighbors. I lived on behind the Home Depot.
Okay, yeah. Actually, one of my good friends has a farm behind Home Depot.
Oh,
What road is he on?
it's off Route 9, and then the cross
Yeah,
street
yeah, I'm
is
trying to think of which-
West Farm.
Yeah, his farm is on Fort Plains.
Oh, right. Yeah, I was very close to there.
Good. Well, I guess I don't know which side of behind Home Depot. I'm assuming is like towards Jackson, not towards the shore side.
Yeah, it was on the Jackson side.
Yeah, man. I would love to kind of share because I highly recommend it to anybody about like the values of growing your own food, and I think there's so many other externalities that come out of gardening more than just growing food. It's like I think other skills and
It's really rewarding. I mean, just to like, just to like, I don't know, do something.
oh yeah,
and see it
100%.
pay off like
It's
that.
extremely
It's just so
rewarding.
good for your
Once
brain, and then so good for your body because I mean,
yeah.
for
I mean,
food
I
eaters.
don't know how many tinfoil
Crap.
hats I want to bring out on a Zoom meeting, but yeah, I have
I've got
lot
a
of
few. Yeah.
Yeah, you keep them in the truck.
Yeah. Hold on, I might
Yeah,
have
I
one here.
keep them in
Hold
my
on.
dresser.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have a lot of
There we go.
reasons why we try to minimize a lot of our conventional food consumption. We'll
No
say.
5G gets through this thing.
Yeah, exactly.
No,
Yeah,
that's
it's
cool.
good, man. And once you're good at it, and it probably took me about 4 years to get good at it, it's not difficult. Like for how, we have literally, I plant thousands of seeds a year, and it's like, sounds like it would take a crazy amount of time, but once you're efficient, it's really not as hard as one might think.
Yeah, and then once your land is set up for it,
Yeah, once
I
it's
mean, a
set
lot of
up
the work
for
is
it,
tending the land.
you do a lot of
and
perennials, so things come
yeah,
back.
yeah,
And then like you don't have to think about it anymore. So like, pruning is just like a small activity you just bang out. It's not like a bit large in the beginning. It's like a larger ordeal to like plan or do kind of maintenance. But now the hardest part is literally weeding.
yeah. That never gets. I've got that
Even
problem
that you
right
get
now.
better at. Like I do weed cloth. I do wood chips now in certain areas. So you kind of learn to get more efficient.
Yeah, very cool.
All right, man. Yeah, let me know, and hopefully our paths will cross again soon.
Yeah, I'd love that.
All
I'll
right,
see you around. I mean,
later,
I'll
man.
I'll say bye again next week, but
Okay, sounds good, brother.
yeah,
Later.
deliver the mail. See ya.
Yeah.